Hello, my name is Jeff Bourne. I'm the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education in DeMoore-McKim. This is the new student event. I'm going to give students a couple of minutes to arrive before we get started. Okay, welcome to Boston. Welcome to the community of scholars that is the DeMoore-McKim School of Business. We are thrilled that you have selected us and that you are trusting that we will deliver to you a world-class education, great co-ops, and so much more. The fall is about beginnings. Northeastern University started in 1898 in the YMCA building that's right next to campus. We started as the first part-time, nighttime law school in America, and look at what we've grown into. Today is the beginning of a partnership between nearly 180 full-time faculty, 150 staff, 650 or more co-op employers, thousands of alumni, and you, 960 freshmen, external transfers, and NUN students. Welcome. You are our most accomplished entering class. We couldn't be happier to have you with us. To more formally welcome you, and I want to turn the program over to the Dunton family dean of the DeMoore-McKim School of Business, my boss, your boss, Raj Echambadi. Raj?
Thank you, Jeff, for that introduction. Welcome, all of you, to the fall 2020 semester. At the outset, I want to applaud you all for your academic achievements. As Jeff said, this is a phenomenal class, and I want to acknowledge that you all had a lot of educational choices, but you chose Northeastern as your educational destination, for which we are truly grateful. Now, this is an investment in your future. You have come here to accomplish your goals and to achieve your potential. And I want to say that you made the right choice. As Jeff alluded to here earlier, Northeastern is 122 years old, and the School of Business that you are a part of is 98 years old. In a couple of years, we'll be celebrating our centennial celebrations. But beyond that, this legacy of excellence has been made possible because of our reliance on experiential learning, which is the fusion of the rigor of the classroom instruction with the relevance of the real world. Now, over the past few years, we have also espoused a curricular philosophy called humanics, that it is not just content alone that is going to make you successful and impactful. It is also the combination of technology, data, and human-centered literacies that will make you truly impactful in the world. And this combination, or this foundation, if you will, of experiential learning and humanics is a potent combination. Now, I have to confess, fall 2020 is a semester that we have never encountered before. We are both on an uncharted journey together, but I see a lot of optimism in the air. In the past few days, I've had the opportunity to talk to a variety of you as I've been walking around the campus, and I find that you are eager for new beginnings. You are excited to engage with faculty and staff, with fellow students, and you want to meet new people and make new friends. And I'm also glad to say that I see all of you wearing masks and socially distancing yourself, which is always a good thing. I know this is unlike anything else we have seen before, and there are many things that are being thrown at you, and they may be confusing. So I'm going to give you a piece of advice that I tell all our faculty and staff and even my teenage daughters. Be patient, be kind and compassionate to one another. Just remember, you are not in this alone. We are all in this together. We will get through it. But the key beyond all this is the fact that you are going to be resilient, you are going to be adaptable, and you're going to develop agile thinking, which is going to make you extraordinarily significant in your professional lives in the long run. Therefore, I'm optimistic that given the talent that we have and the quiet determination that I have seen, that we are going to get through this together and thrive into the future. Now, a lot of people have asked me, what are some of the lessons that you have learned in the past few months with the global pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement and so on? And I say to them, I've learned humility. I've learned the power of vulnerability. As Brené Brown calls it, it's courage. I've learned how to handle uncertainty, but most importantly, I've learned the power of gratitude. Over the past few months, our faculty and staff have worked extraordinarily hard to not only develop new curricular offerings, but also to develop the workplace safety protocols, create an entirely new and robust testing infrastructure. And therefore, when I look at it, I'm very humbled to see, I'm inspired actually to lead the school, but I'm also realizing that the power happens, greatness happens when we are all in this together. So I'm grateful for our corporate partners. I'm grateful for our 50,000 plus alumni who all make these things work. So while it is your hard work, it is your commitment, it is your effort that has brought you here, an acknowledgement of your support structure, and a perspective of what got you here is important to us. The unsung heroes are your parents, your family members, your friends, your significant others, your high school coaches, your high school teachers, and everybody that has brought you here. So I have a request for you. I want you to take the time during this welcome week to either write a card or pick up the phone and call, or write an email to somebody or the people that matter to you. It is all very good, and I know your parents, your friends, your family members, your high school teachers know that you care and they appreciate what they have done for you. But I think an acknowledgement that they mattered helps. So I want you to take this time. And for those of you who are socially media conscious, go on Instagram, go on Twitter, go on. There are new platforms coming all the, every day, TikTok or Snapchat or wherever you go, and tag Damore McKim and be grateful, because one of the things that I am going to insist on is that we are all truly grateful for where we are today, despite the suffering and misery that's going on. And I want that to become our connecting theme, because as you know, gratitude leads to long-term happiness. And you're going to hear more from me about the theme of gratitude. So I'm going to switch gears right now, and I'm going to bring in a current student, a current Damore McKim student, because she has a lot to offer and she has a lot of advice that will be kind of useful to you. Fernanda Lopez is actually a current student at Damore McKim. She is majoring in marketing with a minor in behavioral neuroscience. And I looked at Fernanda's resume. It was very long. So for the interest of brevity, I'm going to say she serves as the social media manager for us. And she's a very accomplished student. But one of the defining features of her career here at Damore McKim is that she's the co-vice president of We Build, which is a part of our WISE, which is our Women's Interdisciplinary Society for Entrepreneurs. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Fernanda. Fernanda, how are you doing? Fernanda, yeah, you may be muted.
Yeah, I'm glad this is working. Thank you for the warm introduction. I am very happy and very grateful to be here today and just share as much as I can from my previous experience and 4 years at Northeastern.
Fantastic, Fernanda. I'm going to start off with a question. I know neuroscience, but what does behavioral neuroscience mean?
Yes, so neuroscience in itself, you talk about the brain, what the brain is, the chemical behind it. I knew that I wanted to come to Northeastern to study marketing, and I was thinking about psychology or neuroscience or something like that. Started to learn more about marketing and psychology specifically, and I kind of realized at one point that those were two very abstract concepts for me. Marketing is all about human behavior, and psychology is really based on theories and understanding a lot of different theories that some people might have in terms of behavior. But I was very curious and I wanted to know the extra layer. I wanted to know exactly how our brain works. I wanted to know the chemical process. I wanted to know specifically the behavior that is attached to our brain and how that can impact marketing practices in the business world. So more in terms of behavior neuroscience, it just attacks more the behavior aspect. And that's what it's so important to me to bring into the field of business.
Fantastic. So I know a lot of students are anxious right now because this is their first week. They are in a new place. And of course, there is this global pandemic. Not far too long ago, you were there. You were a part of the welcome week, etc. Mm-hmm. So traveling back in time, those 2 or 3 years, what advice would you give them at this point as they are facing this uncertain but exciting future?
Yes, well, by no means is it the same experience. And I think that the advice has to be a little bit tailored. So when I first came to Northeastern in the Boston campus was the spring semester of my freshman year, since I did NUN at McGill University in Canada. So I remember, the winter fair, coming into the Curry Center, seeing so many clubs, being so overwhelmed, and try to understand what was really my place at Northeastern. And now realizing that also you have Fall Fest virtually and you have all these opportunities that are going to be done virtually, I think my number one piece of advice is to ask for help when you need it. Like, I think sometimes we all come into college thinking that we can figure things on our own, we're finally independent, but the reality is that Northeastern has a huge network of people, whether it's through the PAC mentorship program, whether it's through organizations or even the entrepreneurial ecosystem at Northeastern, there's always a place for you. And it just takes for you to ask the right questions to the right people to find it. So don't be afraid to ask questions, and you have such a large amount of people that are willing to help you and want to help you.
That's fantastic advice, Fernanda. one of the things, and you touched upon the entrepreneurial ecosystem, one of the things that I want to highlight here is Tamar McKim and Northeastern. We have a very vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem that got rated as the top entrepreneurial university a couple of years ago by the Echambadi Foundation. But when we talk about an entrepreneur, we are not just talking about building new ventures. We are actually talking about entrepreneurship as an attitude, because we think every student should be entrepreneurial. You should all be aspire to become CEOs, chief entrepreneurial officers, doing things differently, because that is, I think, going to be a skill set that is going to make students into change makers. So Fernanda, switching gears, I want to ask you about WeBuild, about what you do there, but more importantly, beyond the design thinking and the innovation sessions that you're talking about, I want you to talk a little bit about how interdisciplinarity has shaped your life. You know, when we see your own life, you are a marketing major and a behavioral neuroscience minor, and you interact with a lot of people and so on. So this is a two-part question for you.
Yes. That's a great question, actually. I think that one of the best things about Northeastern is the fact that you don't have to be completely married to one major or one school. And that is something that is just a huge misconception, that if you are an engineer, you cannot do any type of entrepreneurship because that means starting a business. And the reality is that Northeastern does such a good job in building a strong entrepreneurial ecosystem. So right now we have 13 or 14 really focused entrepreneurship organizations here. And what that means really is just a lot of students from different majors, different colleges with different missions, trying to learn from each other and innovate and understand how can they think of new ways to solve different problems. And I think that is just something that is super powerful that really drove me to the school and to come here. I was born and raised in Mexico, so definitely had another perspective of what business was, what the world needed from me, what my purpose was. But after learning what the school had to offer, I came here and I got really involved with the entrepreneurial ecosystem and really try to understand, not because I'm a marketer, I want to be a marketer, does that mean that I cannot study something like behavior neuroscience, or that I cannot work with engineers to work on different startups? So WeBuild is WISE, as you mentioned, thought incubator for female founders, meaning we are looking to build the next generation of female entrepreneurs and make sure that they feel supported and have the resources to use their skills that they learn in the class into a new passion project, whether that's a YouTube channel, an actual venture, a nonprofit organization. And there's so many resources as well. My time at the Entrepreneurs Club, which is Northeastern students' largest student-run organization, also works with a variety of people in terms of incubating startups and helping people start their own things and just thinks about solving problems in different ways. So I think being interdisciplinary does not mean just, doing different things at the same time. It's just really having a lot of hunger to come and learn from different disciplines and use the school resources to make things happen.
No, that's a fantastic elucidation of what our ecosystem is all about. One of the fascinating things for me is that when we call all our student organizations Mosaic, because it's a fabric of various organizations that actually come together, and it's not actually a melting pot, because we want people's unique strengths to come in and so on. So I wanted to dive deep into something that you said. You talked about how differences make a difference. When you bring in multiple people together, it actually affects, impacts in a positive way, etc. I saw from your resume, you are actually a peer affinity community member, mentor for the fall. Could you talk a little bit about what it is all about and what your plans are?
Yes, for sure. So the acronym for that program is called the PAC Leadership Program, or the PAC Mentorship Program. So basically, the school has worked really hard in launching a mentorship program for first-year students. So a lot of us who have had our own fair share of experiences at Northeastern are able to mentor a group of students who are willing to learn more about how to find their place at Northeastern. So it's been a really awesome way to train all summer to make sure that we are really prepared to mentor. And I really encourage all the first year students to look into these type of opportunities. I know sometimes it can be a little too much saying, I don't need a mentor, I don't want to mentor right now, or I don't know if I would fit in, but I promise there's so many good activities planned, and especially since things are going virtual, it's really important for you to have that support with other student leaders.
Right, that is again great advice. I have to say that please, mentorship is critical. I have a mentor, actually two, including my wife. But now, Fernanda talked about this peer mentoring. I also want to tell our first year students that we have a program that we are launching called Pathfinder, which is about creating entrepreneurial change makers. So if you're interested, talk to people about it and becoming a part of these programs, because it will help you not only to get to know people, but also push your boundaries and not settle for the status quo and so on. Fernanda, one thing that has amazed me, especially in the past 6 months, is the fact that student organizations such as yours has actually become virtual. We were all forced to go remote in March, but I find student organizations have done remarkably well. They went in first, they're very creative, and so on. So my question to you is, you went remote. What are the learnings that you have had by virtue of going remote? But more importantly, I know there is some nervousness and anxiety on the part of our first year students. How can we make new friends in this environment, etc.? If it is all remote, what do we do, and so on? So what are your experiences? What is your advice to these students as they are navigating in this digitally convergent world?
Yes, that's a great question. I think first of all, just understanding we're all pretty much on the same boat. We are still all trying to navigate what is the best way to support, and especially first year students find the right club or school organization that they want to be part of. From my own experience in both school organizations, Greek life, and mentorship programs, I can say that there's a lot being planned for the fall semester and the spring semester, but specifically for the fall semester in terms of virtual engagement. So if there's anything really good about things being virtually, is that as school organizations, we can bring amazing people to give workshops that before, they couldn't fly to Boston all the way here. So at least in terms of WISE, we're able to secure speakers from all over the country and some outside of the US. So that will be a little sneak peek of what we have planned. But also I know recruitment practices for Greek life are being planned online. So one of my main pieces of advice is that sometimes it's really hard to find information on websites, but almost all of these organizations have social media presence where actual students are sharing updates and constant information. So whether it's a club that you found through the school website or a sorority or fraternity you'd like to be part of or a mentorship program, I'd really suggest just looking them up either on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook to find more information. And also, I remember it was so fun to go to club meetings, especially my freshman year, sit next to someone in a club meeting, make friends. It was so easy in terms of that. Things flowed very naturally. But now it's an added layer of maybe, having to reach out to someone to be friends. But honestly, we're all kind of in the same boat. And if anything, people like that. They like that aspect of having someone reach out to them and, hey, do you want to get on a virtual coffee chat? Or, hey, let's play a video game together online. I think it's really important for you to maybe step out a little bit of your comfort zone and understand people are going to really like if you reach out to them, and everyone wants to make friends. So whether it's inside school organizations or whatever program you're looking to get into, just make the first move. And most of the time things will really work out.
Yeah, that is again great advice. So I'm going to have one last question for you. And that question is about gratitude. I talked about gratitude in my remarks because that is something I knew about the power of gratitude. But in the last 6 months, when I've seen the power of people come together, I'm extraordinarily grateful for what people have accomplished together. So what are you grateful for?
There's a lot of things, and I can say right now, today was my first day of virtual co-op at a private equity company called KKR, which again, so outside of my usual thing, but just reflecting a little bit today on the things that I've learned and the things that I've gained from, I'm really grateful for the support system that I currently have. And that goes from the people at the university, but also my family and my parents. Very grateful for my parents for giving me the chance to go to another country and pursue a higher education, and very grateful as I start my senior year of Northeastern and the opportunities that I've been able to gain and the amazing relationships I've made throughout the way. And I love the advice regarding doing a card or making a phone call. I'm definitely going to do that right after this, and really suggest to not let go of that gratitude and compassion throughout your journey at Northeastern, because it can get you really, really long places.
No, that is fantastic. And, given that you are a social media manager for us, you are going to tag Damore McKim on your gratitude note.
Of course.
But, thank you so much, Fernanda. For one, I can say on behalf of the people here at Damore McKim, we are grateful to have students like you. So thank you. And thank you for being here and for being so eloquent and articulate about your experiences. So, and more importantly, thank you for your leadership to build inclusion and belonging within Damore McKim. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in a socially distanced way, appropriately masked very soon. Thank you, Fernanda. Much appreciated. Okay, so we are at the end of time, so I wanted to provide some closing comments. The first thing I want to talk about is the vision for Damore McKim. The vision for Damore McKim is to develop impactful leaders like you and to create use-inspired research in the landscape of digital convergence. Digital convergence to us is the seamless integration of the physical and the digital, right? I mean, COVID has accelerated such that our work has changed, our learning has changed, our lives have changed. So that is basically what we are calling as a digital convergent world. And when we talk to our employer partners, the number one skill set and competency that they want happen to be students who are very literate in this world and who have the skills to navigate this world. So this is what you're going to hear about in the next 4 years that you are here with us. The second thing I want to say is a note of optimism. I know things look bleak out there, but as somebody who did work in the area of innovation, I just want to go back to the recent past. 2002, we had the SARS-2 virus, and out of that virus came global behemoths like Alibaba and Tencent. It accelerated e-commerce in Asia. So things became better. 2008 was the global recession, and of course, out of that came the sharing economy, Airbnb, Uber, Lyft, and companies like that. This is again, while it looks terrible out there at this point in time, it is going to foster an innovation economy. But the most important thing that you have happens to be your potential. You're going to be phenomenal because you are a part of a great university. You are a part of the global fabric of Damore McKim. With the education coupled with your potential, you're going to be fine. So I'm going to close by saying to you, you're not in this alone. We are all in this together. As Fernanda said, ask for help. Don't hesitate to ask for help. It is not a sign of weakness. It is actually a sign of strength. But more importantly, let's all learn to be patient, kind, and compassionate to one another, and we are going to come out of the other side in a thriving manner. So thank you again for being a part of Damore McKim and Northeastern. This has been phenomenal. I look forward to seeing you soon, and we look forward to engaging with you. Best wishes for continued success. Thank you all.